Good evening, everyone. My name is Courtney. This is Paulo and Sean, and we're the BCS Think Tank. Before we get started tonight, I just wanted to take a minute to review our MD and RP for this project. Our MD is should ORU expand the course offerings in the international business concentration, followed by the RP of determining the ORU student opinions of whether or not additional courses should be offered in this concentration. We decided on this project because businesses are more interconnected than ever before. And given the vision of Oral Roberts to go into every man's world, by expanding the international business concentration courses, this will bring the vision to pass here at ORU, which would directly influence the world. We're going to use two different types of research to gather our data, secondary as well as primary. For secondary research, we're going to be looking at newspaper as well as international business articles, followed by university associations as well as trade groups and books on business trends. Moving on to primary research, we're going to be looking at both online as well as in-class surveys, specifically the questionnaire, which is going to gauge the student opinion of whether or not we should implement these additional courses into the program. Here's Paula.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about who our audience is. Our audience for this study is actually going to be ORU grad and undergrad students. So you can see us over here in the photos. But specifically, we want to target people within the business department because we feel that these will be the students that are most familiar with the MBA program, obviously. So let's talk a little bit about sample questions we'd like to ask. Some questions just to gauge student opinions and attitudes towards the program are, how do they feel about the importance of international travel? Or would they consider taking an MBA with a concentration in international business at ORU? Or would they consider working for an international company, perhaps sometime in the future after they graduate? So we want to ask these questions to gauge what they think about the current program, what they know about it, what they feel towards it, and perhaps their intent or their action to actually going into the program. So one of the ways that we want to gauge our primary research is through online surveys. So we want to do that basically through surveymonkey.com, create an online survey, and then send it to students via Facebook or either via email. So depending, this would be an easier option for us as it's easier to collect data in a timely manner. And Sean will talk about the other options that we have.
Thanks, Paulo. So basically, in addition to the other options that Paulo covered, we can also perform the questionnaire via hard copy questionnaire. Basically, we think the questionnaire is going to be about 2 pages in length. We want it to be long enough to get the data that we want, but short enough to keep the student's attention. Basically, the first page is going to be the bulk of it's going to be the research problem questions, and the second page will be the demographic questions. We realize that there may be some ambiguity with our topic, so we're going to actually list the possible or potential ambiguous terms on the survey itself, or the questionnaire itself. Further, we realize that students may not actually look at those definitions, so we're going to read them out loud as well. Irrespective of method, though, we are going to use a Likert scale model as well as limited use of open-ended questions. And by limited, I mean we realize that open-ended questions are inherently difficult to quantify. But even though they're difficult to measure, open-ended questions can give you a sense of texture, context, nuance that strict numbers can conceal. So, but before all that, we're going to implement a pilot survey to see if our questionnaire is as effective as we think it is, if it's good as is, or if we need to make some revisions to it to be more effective. So after all that's done, we're going to go into the classrooms, ask for 5 minutes of the class's time, have them fill out the questionnaire, and once we tabulate it, hopefully that'll give us some good data to present to ORU as far as fulfilling this management decision. Thank you.